Hello everybody and welcome back again to another video. I wish everybody a happy new year. I know it's late, but better late than never. And today's topic is my 5 reasons why Novak Djokovic has been so successful against Rafael Nadal, because we all know that Rafael Nadal is the most consistent player of all time. He's the guy that never beats himself. He never does a terrible match. He always performs when he plays. And through the years, it doesn't matter if it's Grand Slam, Masters, ATP Cup, Davis Cup, 500s, Olympics. You know that Rafa, when he steps on the court, he will give you a run for your money, and you better perform if you want to beat him, because Rafa is not a Santa Claus. Rafael is not Mother Teresa. Rafa is not a guy that takes snap. He doesn't disappear from the match. He never goes away. He doesn't dip in level. He's always there from the start to the beginning to the end, and it ain't over until the fat lady sings when you play against Rafael Nadal, because he's the total opposite of Santa Claus. He's the Grinch. He doesn't give away free points. You really have to earn and perform, and to put up a hell of a performance that can take Rafael Nadal out of balance. So in this video I'm going to talk about the 5 reasons I think that Novak has done so successfully through his career to find the formula to beat Rafael Nadal. And we all know that matchup, that rivalry is perhaps one of the greatest rivalry in history. They have met 55 times. Novak has won 29 of them and lost 26. And we recently saw yesterday in the ATP Cup what a performance Novak Djokovic put up when he beat Rafael Nadal, because when he does that, when he plays like this in the beast mood level, he was imperial. He didn't let Rafa come into the match due to his superb baseline game. So we all know that Rafa struggles and have problem with Novak Djokovic through his career, and he's the guy that has beaten him most time through his career. And just look at the stats. He's the only guy that has beaten Rafael Nadal in all of the Grand Slams. Nobody has managed to do that, not even Roger Federer. He has never beaten Rafa at the French Open. So it takes a physical, demanding effort to beat Rafael Nadal. And Rafael Nadal is the most physical, demanding player on the court. As soon as he steps on the court, you know that you're in big trouble, because Rafa performs every time. All right, let's start this and dig into this first of 5 reasons. I'm gonna start backwards and count to number 1. First, number 5 is Novak's confidence and belief. Novak has a tremendous belief in himself. As long as he knows he plays his best tennis, he knows that he can beat anybody. It's not just only on physical level that he beats his opponents, it's mentally too. In a similar way that Nadal, when he started to beat Roger Federer early in the rivalry, it is exactly the same thing, because Novak is a tough opponent, like everybody knows. But as soon as he steps in on the court, his supreme confidence makes him believe that he's the best tennis player in the world, and Rafael Nadal knows that, because Rafael Nadal knows that Novak Djokovic is not afraid of him. He knows that he's not a next-gen player or an all next-gen player that Rafael Nadal eats for breakfast, that he can bully, that he can push from corner to corner on the tennis court. And Novak Djokovic, together with Roger Federer, are the only players that has beaten Nadal more consistently on regular basis, more than anybody else in the history of tennis. So my reason number 5 was Novak Djokovic belief and confidence. And my number 4 reason is Novak Djokovic offense. Novak Djokovic have a very underrated offensive repertoire in his game, and throughout his career he he is known as a baseline player, a grinder that makes his opponent suffer from the baseline. They make unforced errors that he makes them do. That's not the whole story. He has superb offensive, and I'm gonna start with his flat forehand, that flat cross-court forehand that puts his opponent out of rhythm and creates and opens up for his tremendous backhand, which I think is the best in the business, maybe the best in the history. Nobody can hit a backhand winner like Novak Djokovic with that length, with that depth, with that power. Because when he hits that backhand, you don't know where it's gonna land. It's so hard to tell, and that's a huge advantage. That's the weapon that usually tears down his opponents. So that's his biggest offensive assets, in my opinion. And then you have his very, very underrated serve, in my opinion, because most tennis expert out there has pointed out that Novak Djokovic grinds down his opponent from the baseline. He's just a grinder, and etc. I don't buy that shit, my friends. Excuse me for the bad language, but Novak's first and second serve is the most underrated in the history of tennis, in my opinion, because Novak Djokovic, his first serve is not the hardest and fastest serve, but he has find those angles and rhythms and spins that put out his opponent. And the most important thing, when he is in trouble, he can use that serve. He doesn't have aces in his pocket like Roger Federer or Pete Sampras, but he has a good depth. He has a good length in his serve that creates winning. Just if you remember the ATP Cup match against Rafael Nadal, when he was down 0-30 in his service game in the second set, he just took that service out of his pocket and won those points, mostly because of his serve. And Novak Djokovic, another thing that he's best on is his return. His returning skills, maybe the best in the history, allows him to dictate and take control of the point immediately when his opponent serves, and he takes that advantage to his advantage. He takes the opponent's strength. The serve is the only thing you can control in tennis, and take this to his advantage and dictates and hit winners sometimes, and not only on occasion. He does it on regular basis. So that's a huge weapon that Novak Djokovic possesses. And on to the third reason, and that's of course Novak Djokovic defense. Have you ever seen a better defensive player in the world? On that department, he's better than Rafael Nadal. And all the respect to the physical game, but everything in his game starts with his defense. Novak Djokovic is the Serbian wall. He's a mean machine. He's a rock-solid baseliner with a superb defense that is almost impenetrable when he is in the zone. I've never seen a player shrinks the court to his advantage like Novak Djokovic. He's a great slider. He's a great mover. He's a plastic man. He reaches out for every ball that you think is impossible. Novak has that ability to fish up everything, do the impossible thing, and he's an attacker he's a defender with an attacker's game plan. And how many times have we seen Novak Djokovic neutralize Rafael Nadal's weapons? His biggest weapon is his topspin forehand. Novak loves to handle that forehand because he likes the high ball bounce, and he and Dominic Thiem are probably the player on the circuit that can handle Nadal's monstrous topspin forehand to the advantage and challenge him from the baseline, because Novak Djokovic challenged Rafael Nadal from the baseline. He has great shot tolerance. He got great he's patient. He can rally for 30 up to 40 points without a problem. He doesn't get down 11. He likes that. He likes the heat. He likes to compete with Rafael Nadal. He's not afraid of him, and that gives him a better advantage against him in the longer rallies. I've seen that lately because Rafael Nadal haven't beaten Novak Djokovic outside of clay since the US Open in 2013. And my friends, what is the biggest task in the history of tennis? It's to beat Rafael Nadal at French Open. And Novak Djokovic, together with Robin Söderling, are the only guys that have done that. And Novak Djokovic did that in 3 straight sets in the French Open campaign in 2015, and showed that he was merciless on that match. And some people will say that Rafael was not in his top shape, he was injured. I don't buy that. Rafael Nadal wasn't just good enough in that match, and Novak won that match fair and square, my friends, without a doubt. And how do you beat Rafael Nadal? You have to give him his own medicine. You have to send back everything that he delivers to you, and that's what Novak has done to him. He has done to him what Rafael Nadal has done to Federer in those French Open matches and many of the other tight battles that Federer has lost to Rafael Nadal. He gives him his own medicine. Or you have to put up an ultra aggressive first strike tennis with low unforced errors like Roger Federer did and does against Rafael Nadal. Because in early stages of Federer rivalry, Nadal took the commando and got a little bit of the mental edge. And we all know that Federer in the last couple of years, he has equaled that a little bit, even though he trails in the head-to-head section by 8 wins, I think. And of course, a superb performance as Robin Söderling did in 2009 French Open, where he hit this hard bomb serve with these huge ground strokes that put Nadal out of rhythm. Either you play like Novak, give him his own medicine, or like Federer does, take time away from Rafael Nadal, and you will have a good chance to beat this beast from Mallorca, this Spaniard that barely dip. He doesn't dip. He just performs match after match, and that's the amazing thing. And my second number, the reason why Novak Djokovic has been so successful against Rafael Nadal is his stamina and endurance. Novak Djokovic is one of the most fittest tennis players on tour, or we can say most of the fittest athletes in the world, together with Rafael Nadal. We know that these two guys are ball bashers. They can play for hours. They have the endurance, they have the stamina, they have the motivation to compete. And just a reminder for you, watch the Australian Open final from 2012, which I think is the most what was the word? Most demanding physical tennis match I've seen in my life. That match was a tight 5-set battle. I forgot, I think it was 4 or 5 hours, and Novak won that match. He showed that he is a guy that can challenge Rafa for hours, not for only 1 or 2 sets that most of the people can do in Grand Slams. But Rafael doesn't go down in level, and that's why he takes his teeth into his opponents and basically eat them on a physical level. And Novak can compete with him because he is strong. He has a good training strategy. He has good coaches. And after the prize ceremony in the AO final in 2012, both of these guys could barely walk. They were on their knees. It was so physical demanding, that match. Some people thought they were both of them gonna collapse on the court, but they didn't. They put up perhaps the best baseline match in history. And Novak, in the early stage of his career, he lost those tight matches because he wasn't that fit. But when he started with his gluten-free diet and a new training regime, he played more tactically than before. He started to win these tight battles, and we have seen his result. Hard work pays off, my friends. You all know that. If you work hard, it eventually pays off. I hope it pays off. So that's my second reason. On my number 2 spot, Novak Djokovic, endurance and stamina. And the number 1 reason, on the first place, is a thing that you can't just train. You have to have it here and here, in your mind and in your heart. And that's the mindset, my friends. Novak Djokovic, we all know that he's a mental beast. He was a latecomer to this Nadal party because he's younger than them. And that have made him mentally stronger because his mission has always been to compete with these guys. He knows what it takes to compete and win Grand Slam. He knows that the hard work that you had to put up to beat and challenge Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal, especially Rafael Nadal, on a physical level. And he has always been in the shadow of these two giants because they are the most popular tennis players of all time. Roger is perhaps one of the most popular athletes of all time, and he's beloved. He has fans all over the world that love him. He's beloved in every corner of this planet, and same goes for Rafael Nadal. Not in the same amount, but he has a huge fan base around the world with millions of fans. And then we have Novak also who is a tremendously popular player, especially in Asia, or what I've heard. I'm not sure if that's true, but he has collected a great fan base also. And he has always stand in the shadow of these two, and he knows and that has made him so strong that we know Novak when he plays, you see the fire in his eyes, you know the desire that he has to win, to collect his Grand Slams, to equal and surpass them in the Grand Slam tally, both Nadal and Federer, which is the mission that he can complete. And I think that he won't stop until he has accomplished that. It's not a mission impossible. He has those two guys in his reach, but it depends how they perform also, you know, because it's hard to collect Grand Slams nowadays. You know that, what it takes. It's an effort that is always almost impossible if your name is not Djokovic, Nadal, or Federer. And few players have the physical and mental capability to challenge and touch Rafael Nadal. Those players you can count them on your fingers. It's Djokovic, it's Federer that can challenge him on a regular basis. And that's why these guys are so amazing. And Rafa, we all know that Rafa will give you value for his money, and Novak Djokovic is there. He's so good, he's so confident in himself. Just watch the way he plays against Nadal. He is confident. All right, my friends, so my 5 reasons are from number 5 was confidence and belief. Number 4, Novak Djokovic offense. Number 3, Novak Djokovic defense. Number 2, Novak Djokovic stamina and endurance. And number 1, Novak Djokovic mental toughness. If I haven't already told you, I just want to mention it again. I'm not sure if I mentioned it early in this video. Novak Djokovic is the only guy that has beaten Rafael Nadal at every Grand Slam. So that makes he more unique than anybody else. All right, my friends, thanks for watching this video. Take care and bye-bye.